Okay, we're going to get started on the Georgian house floor plan and elevation. And there's a floor plan and elevation pacing guide that we'll use to make sure that we have our pieces completed by the end of the second quarter. Okay, so first we're going to start by opening up AutoCAD. So go to the Start menu, CTE, CAD, go straight to AutoCAD. And the AutoCAD that opens up is the one that we've been using all along, but this one is not quite what we need to use. So we are actually going to create a new, or open up we're going to create a new profile. And this profile is going to be strictly for doing architecture work. So, or it's going to be your new profile that you'll use for the rest of the year. So go to the large A, click on the large A, and click Options. Go to User Preferences, and go to Initial Setup. We're going to select Architecture as our environment, our drawing environment. Click Next. We're going to leave all of this out. The 3D modeling we're going to do later. The photorealistic rendering we don't need to do right now, nor do we need to use the review and markup or the sheet sets. So we'll leave these unchecked. Go ahead and click Next. And for this particular template, we're actually going to use a completely different template. This one is going to be an architecture template, so we need to open up our architecture template file. So we're going to click Use My Existing Drawing Template File. And we're going to browse for that. It should open up the template file that's in the G drive. If it does not, then scroll for the Global Drive, Templates, Autodesk, Template. Make sure we're in the template file. And we're going to use Initial Setup Architectural Imperial.dwt. That is our template file for working with architecture. So go ahead and click Open, and then click Finish. Now the tool palette that opens up for architecture, we're going to go ahead and close that for right now since we don't really need that. Oh, sorry, we can't close it since we're still in the options and we haven't finished with our options just yet. We want to go to our profiles, and we want to rename our initial profile, our initial setup profile, to architecture. So say rename and just type in architecture, and then say apply and close. Make sure architecture is set to current. And then click OK. We also want to make sure that it's the correct workspace here. So we want to ensure that it's the correct one over here. So it should be it should say Initial Setup Workspace. I have some additional ones, but yours should say Initial Setup Workspace. And right now we're just going to go ahead and close that. And then we're going to open up AutoCAD again. And now that we're in our initial setup workspace for working on our Georgian house, you should notice if you come down here that the units have changed. They've changed from being just basic numbers to now they should say 1 feet, 2 feet, 5 feet, and inches. So you'll have your feet and inches now laid out. It'll make the process of doing and working on the house design a whole lot easier, since we can now put in specific units of measurement instead of just putting in numbers. Okay, so if we look at our pacing guide, our first drawing that we need to complete is called the panel door. And you're going to save it as door in your CAD folder, or in your My Documents folder for CAD. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our panel door drawing that we have either on paper, or you can look at it online because it has been uploaded online. And we're going to lay out our door. So you can either use the line tool, or you can use the rectangle tool. I prefer to go ahead and use the rectangle tool, and so I'm just going to lay out my rectangle, and I'm just going to pick a point because it doesn't really much matter. But I am going to use the dimensions that have been given. So I'll type in D for dimension, and the length for the rectangle is going to be 3 feet, and the width for the rectangle is going to be 6 feet 8 inches. And notice I'm using 6 feet 8 inches. And so this is now my 6 feet 8 inch rectangle. And I once again just click anywhere in the screen so it creates the rectangle. And I'm just going to double check my measurements. From one corner to the next is 3 feet. And from top to bottom, it's 6 feet 8 inches, as you can tell. All right. So now I need to add the outside jambs of the door. And since they're outside, they're offset 4 inches to the outside. So 4 inches. Let me do this again so you can see it very clearly. I select the line. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the top corner, and I'm just holding my mouse over that top corner until I see a green box. Then I draw my mouse out, and as I draw it out, you'll see that dotted green line that lets me know I'm still on the same perpendicular parallel point as I started. So I'm coming out 4 inches, and so I'm typing in 4 inches away from that point. That was where I used the cursor as a guide. So I'm coming out 4 inches from that point, and I hit enter. And so now that's 4 inches away from the top edge of my door, and I come down until I meet the bottom edge. I use my cursor and go over until I see the green square, and I draw it out. So now I'm completely perpendicular. The green dotted lines tell me I'm perpendicular and parallel to my points. And I click. Hit enter, either on the keyboard or right click on the mouse and highlight enter. And so now I have my left door jamb. Let me do my right. Once again, scroll in, zoom in, hover over that point, draw my cursor out 4 inches, zoom out, draw my line down till it's even with the bottom edge, click, right click, enter. So now I have the door and the outside jambs. Let me add my lines up here at the top. And repeat the line, right click to get to that. Right click again to repeat the line. Or if you have your hand on the keyboard, you can also hit enter. So now I have my finished door so far. Now it's time to put the panels into the door. So if you look at the larger view of the door panel door on your sheet, you will see that there's a reference line of 8 inches above the bottom edge. So let's go ahead and put that line in. So draw my cursor up, type in 8 inches so I'm precise, and then take my cursor all the way across. That's my first line. And then I have another line that's 2 feet above that. So once again, hover over that point, draw my line up, 2 feet, take my line across. So that's going to be the bottom 2 panels on the panel door. So let's go ahead and create a line 4 inches inside of that as a guide. So go in 4 inches, draw a line all the way down, just to the guide of the panels, not all the way down to the bottom because we don't need to go there. Okay, now we can make another rectangle. So our starting point is going to be here, or you can choose here, whichever one. Since I'm going to use this one, my dimensions for this bottom panel are in fact 12 inches by 2 feet. Click anywhere, and we're going to repeat that command. Go back to this corner. Dimensions stay the same, but we still have to use the same dimensions. Click anywhere, and there go our 2 panels at the bottom. Now we don't really need this line, so we can delete that one. This one we still, if you look, we'll still need that line, so we'll leave that one alone for right now. But we have another rectangle we need to create. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that first line. Let's leave this, put that back. Let's create another line that's 4 inches above this one. And go ahead with our next set of rectangles. Which will be in this corner. Dimensions stay the same, but we still have to use our dimensions, so make sure you type in D for dimension. And then enter to repeat that command. Select your bottom corner again. D for dimension. Click, and there we go, our 2 sets of long panels. And then we need another line that's 4 inches away from this one, so go up 4 inches, just put a line across there, enter, and we're going to use our rectangle command again. Our corner starts here. Dimension again, but the dimensions for this one are 1 foot by 1 foot. Click, enter to use that command again. Down here, dimension, and so now, so far, our panels for our panel doors, the outer edges are done. We can go in and we can take out the extra lines that we don't need. And we're going to go ahead and trim this line down here. Enter so we can trim anything else that we don't need. Take that out. We'll take that out. Enter. And then we'll just delete the rest of that line. And so there we go. Oh, we do need to put a line down 4 inches from up here. So 4 inches down. And it needs to go to here. Repeat that on the opposite side. And so we have these 2 little lines here, and then down at the bottom as well. And those are features that we need for the outside jambs of the panel door. So far you should be about here. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's finish off the panel details. So let's zoom in on our panels, and let's go ahead and offset our rectangles by 3/4 of an inch. So you can either type in 3/4 inch like that. Select the object that you want to offset. Since we're offsetting this, we're going to offset. And inside that the rectangle. Or you can also select offset again, and you can type in 0.075 inches. It will convert it into the fractional inches. Select the object to offset, and it will still offset it the same amount. So we're good there. So all of the panels get offset by 3/4 of an inch inside. And if you look at your panel details again, it says they offset again another 3/8 of an inch. So we hit enter to exit the command, come back to the offset, type in 3/8 of an inch, and we are going to offset 3/8 of an inch as well. And it is, once again, the outer panel that you're offsetting 3/8 of an inch. Oh, my apologies, I'm wrong. Offset 3/8 of an inch, and it's this panel you're offsetting 3/8 of an inch. So it's the inside rectangle that's being offset 3/8 of an inch. Ooh, we have a little problem there. So let's clean this one up. All right, so I'm going to just mirror that point. And in order for me to mirror it accurately, I need to have my midpoint selected. So now we're going to select a midpoint here. And we're just going to move my cursor down. When I use the midpoint, I just move my cursor down. So it'll mirror it to the opposite side. Click. Do I want to erase the source objects? No, I do not. Enter, so I type in and enter, and therefore I now have my panels of the panel details of the panel door done. So now it is time to add the lintel, or the top of the panel door. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we look at our panel door detail on our handout, we will see that at the top of the door it comes up 6 inches and it comes out 1 inch. So I'm going to create a line that's 1 inch away from the top and then goes up 6 inches. And then hit enter. And I'll do that on the opposite side. Or, what tool did we just use? We used our mirror tool. We could do that again. We could do that for the side as well. So we just have to select those 2 lines that we just created. Hit enter. Use our midpoint. Once again, if we go down, you look, when I move my cursor, it's creating it. You could go down, you could go up, whichever way, but you want to create your mirror on the opposite side. Erase source object no, in, enter. And so now we have the same pieces that we have over here as well. And then just connect them using a line. Enter. And then we have another piece that comes out 1 inch. And it goes up 2 inches. Once again, I'm going to use my mirror tool. Select those 2 lines. Hit enter. Since I have my line selected now, I'm going to use the same center point I used for here down here, because if you'll notice, the center points don't match up. So I'm using the center point down here. I'm going to go straight up. I'm not going to erase. I right click so I can select no. And I'm just going to connect them once again using a line. So now if I zoom out, you can see so far we are close to being done with our door. We just have to finish off the outside jamb details. So we are going to zoom in on this, come down from this line that was 4 inches away from that corner, come down 2 inches. So make sure you hover over that point that you want to come down from 2 inches for. So come down 2 inches. Ah, see, it didn't end up going right. So let's try that again. Hover over that point, come down 2 inches. Hit enter. The same on the opposite side. Come down 2 inches. And we actually have to come up 2 inches on the bottom. Enter to reselect the line tool, go up 2 inches, go over. All right. And that's known as fluting. What we're going to do next is called fluting. So we're going to create fluting of 1 inch away. The best way to do that is to use our lovely offset tool again. Use 1 inch as our offset distance. And we're going to offset these outside lines 1 inch in, then the next line 1 inch in, and then the next one 1 inch in. And you should have 3. So once again, go to that outside line 1 inch. If it doesn't quite do it exactly, just do it again. Just make sure you're going inside. Enter to end it, and then Delete any extra lines you need. Trim what you don't need away. So trim and hit enter. And we're going to get rid of the tops here. And the top pieces here. And then we'll scroll down and do the same down here. And now that we've trimmed everything away that we need to trim away, hit enter. Zoom in so you can get rid of these lines here. And the ones down here. Delete. If you zoom out or type in Z space E, it will zoom it in to the extent or the size of the object. Double check and see if everything is the way it needs to be. If you're missing anything, like the medallion at the top or the door handles on the side, you may feel absolutely free to put those things in. If you want to do the optional header detail instead, you may do that as well. But you'll have to figure out the angles. To me, those angles look like they could be 30-degree angles. So if you want to do the optional header detail, that is perfectly fine with me. To put in the medallion on the top and the door handle on the side down here, the medallion at the top is centered. So go ahead and use a center line would be my suggestion. Put a line in all the way through. And then just put a circle in. There's no specific number I can give you here for that. You just want to make it look good. So the medallion looks like it's probably about it's not 3 feet or 3 inches. It wouldn't be 3 inches. Well, the radius could be 3 inches, but I don't think so. I mean, the diameter could be radius could be 3 inches, but I don't think so. How about you can do a 2 5/8? So 2 5/8 inches. Notice I use a dash between the 2 and the 5/8 to indicate it's a whole, or mixed fraction. And then you would want to come in and create another circle, a little bit smaller than that one. That one could be 2 1/4. And then you're just going to create a rectangle or a polygon of 3 sides on the inside of that. And the center is going to be the same as the center before. It's going to be circumscribed in a circle. I'm sorry, inscribed in a circle, so it'd be I. And the radius would be whatever you want the radius to be. I would probably say 2 inches. And there goes our medallion at the top. So that should look very much similar to what you have on your page. And then if you wanted to put the door handle in, you would need to do somewhat of the same sort of, I wouldn't say eyeball it, but definitely put the measurements in. It's going to be between, it's going to be slightly above this line and slightly below this line. All right. So let's go ahead and save it at this point. So we're going to go to our large A again. You know how to do the save as. Do a save as drawing file, not a template file, but a drawing file. We're going to save it in our My Documents folder. And oh, lo and behold, I have a door already there. So I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite that one since I have made some changes to it. And click Save. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. So now here's our finished door. Okay. At this point, you can go ahead and complete your windows and shutters, your chair grouping, and your staircases. All of these drawings are due, as well as the furniture, my apologies, as well as the furniture, appliances, and fireplace. These are all due by November 25th. So between the 22nd and the 25th, they need to be uploaded to Vision. All right.